Hi everybody, it's Brian and I'm back today to revisit an old project. If you remember from about a year ago, I had the Cessna 206T trainer model with the flaps. The model's been upgraded a little bit, new manufacturer or something like that. And a couple of the changes are a metal landing gear and a different radio. And some changes to the flaps. Now the flaps that came out of the box on my new one were reversed, meaning that the down position was level with the wings and the up position was up above the wings, so what's called a reflex flap. Not particularly useful in a trainer, so this video is just going to go through the process of getting the flaps to work in a more scale-like or in a trainer proper fashion. So let's have a look. So this is the new model, and as you can see it looks very similar to the old one. I'm just going to show you what the flaps did on mine. So this is the down position of the flaps, and the up position is way too high. That's not right, right? We want them to go down. So what we're going to do is we're going to reverse them so that this is the up position, and the down position is going to be obviously below the wing. So let's get started. Alright, so here's the flap setup on this model. As you can see, we've got the servo here that's connected via the servo control arm, push rod, clevis, and the control horn which drives the flaps. This is the full down position, and as you can see, the flap is flush with the trailing edge of the wing. That's not what we want. We can adjust the length of this control arm, but that doesn't give us, when we do that, it doesn't give us a whole lot of length. The problem is that, as you can see, this servo arm is vertical, and that's at an extent. If I switch it over, it goes way too far and back, and it's overdriving. So what we need to do is adjust the servo arm so that it gets the full length forward and back. So essentially it has to go about 45 degrees back. So let's have a look at how to do that. Okay, as you can see, I've cut a little bit of a run in the fuselage just to give me access to the screw that's in there so that I can remove the control arm from the servo and move it back. So we're in the full down position now. What I want to do is take my screwdriver, unscrew the servo. There's going to be some chattering as the servo pulls against the what I'm doing here. That's okay. Okay, now that the screw's out, I can remove the servo control arm. Just have to wiggle it, pull it off. Might help to get a screwdriver under there. Now I'm just going to reposition it so it's further back. As far back as I can get it, essentially, with this setting here. And push it on. Now we'll replace the screw. Having a magnetic screwdriver really helps for this. Now if I look, as you can see that servo control arm, it has the full travel without binding. Now if we look at the flaps, that's the down, that's the up. We still have to shorten the control arm here, so the push rod. We do that by unclipping the clevis and just tightening it. How we want to do this is so that when the flaps are in the up position, they remain flush with the trailing edge. So that's what we're going to do, is we'll just unclip that and tighten it up. So what I'm going to do is just take my screwdriver and unclip this. Comes right off, and I'll shorten it by turning it clockwise. And what I want to do is measure it so that when the flaps, when it's in this position, that the flap is neutral. So we're going to have to shorten it a little bit here. I can roughly gauge, looks like another half turn or so, another turn. Now, if you look at the flap, that's the full up position, and that's the full down position, which is what we want. You can see I haven't fixed the other ones yet, and that gets the full movement both ways. And that's pretty much it. Okay, let's just have a look and see how the flaps work. There's two controls that operate the flaps. We've got the switch here and the potentiometer. Essentially, what the switch does is it reverses the position of the whatever the flaps are at. So that they're fully up right now, I'm going to hit the switch, and they're going to go to fully down. Switch it back, and they go to fully up. Now, if I want to have some kind of an intermediate position, I use the potentiometer. As you can see, as I adjust it, I can do any position of flap between the fully up and the fully down position. If I hit the switch again, it'll reverse positions and come back up. So if I go to like a halfway position and I hit the flaps, nothing happens. So it has to make sure that if you're going to do an intermediate position, that you have to roll it back the whole way to switch the flaps all the way back up. Okay, here's the setup of the main landing gear. As you can see, it's got three parts. We've got the wire landing gear, the screws, and there's a clear plastic piece that you can see there. That's essentially how it goes. I'll put the metal landing gear down first, the clear plastic piece over top, and then screw it in place. One thing you want to make sure is that the alignment is the same. So this is the rear of the fuselage and this is the front of the fuselage. And the landing gear wheel should come out at the back of that. Otherwise, the nose gear won't touch the ground. The tail will always touch down. Essentially, you have a tail dragger. Then this piece, the foam piece, just fits over top. And you might want to tape it in place so it doesn't come out. It fits pretty snug, but you might want to tape it in place anyways. Okay, so the nose gear setup is pretty straightforward as well. You're looking at essentially two pieces that hook up to the clevis here. The plastic piece that mounts into the firewall, and that just snaps into place. And then there's a metal leg that screws into it. I was going to zoom in a little bit to show you the detail. Essentially, you can see that the arm is, the clevis just snaps into a spot, and it comes out at a weird angle, a 45-degree angle like that. And the steering takes place like that. Okay, and you can see the nose wheel move with it. It looks like it's at the angle's not going to work very well, but it does. It just seems strange. Once you've got everything straightened out as far as the rudder's concerned, you can actually twist the nose wheel in the plastic to straighten it out. And that's all you have to do. And if you look at the snap, you can actually see where it snaps into place, right here and right there. You have to push it. Essentially, this doesn't actually snap in the top. The snap's at the bottom. So you have to sort of place it in the top and then snap the bottom to install it. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward.